So wherever you are beginning, just notice for yourself whether it feels more comfortable for you right now to have your eyes open or closed. Sometimes closing the eyes can help to bring our attention inwards a little bit more clearly. But sometimes it feels easier and more settled to have them open. Just noticing what feels best in your body. And then allowing yourself some time to just become aware of the sounds around you at the moment. There might be sounds inside the room. There might be sounds outside the room, further away. And you might be aware of sounds even further away outside the house. A sense of the world around us. And perhaps noticing space in between the sounds. And seeing if we can find a way of resting within these sounds that allows us to kind of settle at the center and the sounds come and go around us. So the sounds come and go in their own time. We can't hold on to them. We can't push them away. They just rise and fall. And you might notice other things as well asking for your attention. There will be thoughts, might be feelings or body sensations. And we don't need to put any effort into pushing any of that away. It's completely normal and natural that they are here. But by giving ourselves an anchor in sound, we're just offering ourselves something that we can come back to instead. So if we notice that our attention is wandering, we can gently note to ourselves where we've been, and then with the next breath, just drop back, just noticing the sounds. Really simple. And then we're going to invite that same kind of gentle, really welcoming attention towards our physical sensations, our physical experience. So let's become aware of our contact with the ground. Just noting to yourself each part of the body that is touching the earth right now. Noticing if there's any sense of kind of holding yourself in or holding yourself up away from the ground. Can you invite yourself to just settle a little bit more into that contact so the earth can really hold you here? And then bringing some awareness to the breath. And you don't need to breathe in any particular way right now. So often, as soon as we notice the breath, we might bring in a little bit of a sense of how we should be breathing. We might try to change the breath right away. But we've got an opportunity now to just notice how it is. To come alongside it, to be with it without needing to do anything. The breath might feel quite small this morning, might feel big. You might find areas where the breath is feeling a little bit restricted or held. And can you allow yourself to just be with that, if that is the case? Might be a little bit uncomfortable or unfamiliar. Just noticing how it is to be with that and allow it to be as it is. The breath has your full permission. And as we rest here and breathe, there might be all kinds of other things that come through your awareness. The sounds are still surrounding us, a sensation of earth underneath us, and thoughts, feelings, memories, or images. And it can be easy for us to get caught up in any of these things, maybe in all of them. Things can feel quite busy as we are drawn from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. So I just want to offer you the image now of a wide open sky, and the sense that the weather that we experience kind of on the ground is changing all the time. But if you keep going up and up and up through the weather, through the clouds, through the blue sky, through the rain, at some point you get to a place that is just wide and open and offers a container for all of that changeable weather down below. And the real intention of a mindfulness practice for me is to help me get closer to a sense of this wide openness that can contain whatever else is going on inside. So we can imagine that our awareness itself is that wide open, spacious sky. And all of the things going on inside are just the weather. Today it's beautiful. Yesterday there was a massive hailstorm. This evening it might be different. But we can just stay open enough that whatever is coming, pleasant, unpleasant, we can gently welcome and know that it will pass. And if that feels like a useful image for you, then I invite you to come back to it. See if you can connect again as we practice and through the rest of the day with that sense of a wide, welcoming openness that can allow what's happening. Is when we can contact that feeling state and there's enough space for what's going on inside, we have a little bit more space to choose our responses as well. So let's take that feeling or that idea into some movement. And let's start resting on our backs, as long as that's a comfortable place for you to be today. If you need to stay seated, you're really welcome to. If you are coming to rest on your back, make sure you've got some support underneath your head. And we're going to be giving a little bit of attention to our neck and our jaw, the upper back. We want those places to really be able to settle into some softness. And you might have your knees bent, or you might stretch your legs out. See what feels more comfortable for your lower back. And then have a little play around with the position of your arms. So find a place where your arms feel really comfortable and at home. They might be resting on your belly, they might be by your side. Great. And then bringing some attention to the parts of your body that are in contact with the earth, just inviting them again to drop and soften and settle into the ground. Notice the parts of your body that might resist that, might be wanting to hold on. And you don't need to use any force, but just offering them the invitation that it's okay to let go now if they're ready to. And then bringing awareness particularly to the head. We'll begin with those gentle head rolls that we looked at last week. So really let your head be heavy. You don't need to push it into the ground, but you can just let the neck relax as much as possible so then head can be heavy. And then in your own time, rolling the head gently in one direction. Just moving until you meet resistance, pause there. And then in your own time, pouring the weight of the head back to center, and then pouring over towards the other side. You're finding your own rhythm with this. The head stays in contact with the earth and it's just rolling and pouring its weight from side to side. Noticing if the neck or shoulders respond, and invite them to just settle. They don't need to work too hard here. And then coming back towards center in your own time. And if you haven't bent your knees already, then bend your knees and plant your feet on the earth. If that really isn't a comfortable place to be, you can keep the legs outstretched, but the next movement's a bit easier to feel if you've got your knees bent. And then keeping the head and the neck nice and gentle, just begin to press your feet gently into the earth, as if you're trying to leave footprints. Notice what happens around your lower back and your pelvis as you do that. And then releasing gently. So in your own time, just pressing gently into the earth and then releasing. So you might feel as you press into the ground, a gentle tip and tilt in the pelvis. So really subtle movement, nothing big. And then just bringing your awareness to the top of the spine, to the head, to the neck, and noticing what's happening there in response to the movement in your feet. So as you press your feet into the earth and the lower back presses down, you might find that the neck lengthens a little bit. As you release, maybe it shifts. So there's no effort required, there's nothing that your head should be doing, but we're just getting interested in the connections from the feet all the way up through the legs, the pelvis, the spine, and into the skull. All right, and then allowing that to rest again, finding the most comfortable place for your legs and your knees to be. And let's bring our hands up and give the hands a rub so that we're just creating a little bit of heat and warmth in our palms. And then bringing the hands to rest for a moment, heels of the hands just resting in the hollows of the eyes. Noticing how the sense of light might change. And then gently inviting yourself to just bring some gentle contact to the face, some gentle stroking. Just noticing what kind of contact feels good for your body right now. You might bring some stroking to the temples, maybe some gentle circles. And from there, you can use your hands to gently stroke and draw down the length of the jaw, inviting the jaw to be really soft as you do that. There can be some space in between the back teeth. Just checking in with your breath. How does it respond to that? Great. And then in your own time, coming to rest again, either your hands on your belly or back on the earth. Just giving yourself a moment to pause and notice how things are feeling inside now. And let's bring the arms up. So the shoulders are going to rest into the earth, but the fingers point towards the sky. And coming into some gentle circles for the wrists. Wriggling through the fingers, the thumbs. And circling the opposite direction. And then we'll cross over at the forearms, so we take hold of the elbows. The upper arms are vertical, elbows pointing to the sky, and beginning to find some gentle circles for the elbows. So tuning in again towards the shoulders and the upper back. And then moving in the opposite direction. These circles can be as big or as small as feels good in your body right now. And then back towards center, just changing the cross of the arm so the other forearm comes closer to your face. And we'll gently let the elbows drift towards the left. So we're finding a little rotation through the upper back. Let your head drop in the same direction, so head turns towards the left too. No need to pull, just let the arm bones rest. And then coming back towards center and dropping over towards the right. Head turning to the right. And taking your time back to center and then over to the left. Find a rhythm for these twists that suits your body and suits your breath. You could experiment with twisting on the out breath and coming back to center on the in breath. You might find that something else suits you today. So be open to that, be guided by how things are feeling inside. The next time the elbows drop towards the right, we'll finish there, coming back towards center. Have a little shake out through the hands if that's comfortable for you. And then invite your knees in towards your chest. So bringing the knees in, maybe hugging the thighs or the fronts of the knees. Have a little movement here, maybe rocking side to side, maybe coming into some circles, if that feels good. Feeling the back of the pelvis massaging into the ground. And then if you are circling, let yourself circle in the opposite direction. Great. And then in your own time, we're going to make our way up to a seat. So come up when you're ready, unless you've discovered that you need to lie down for the next hour or so. So feel free to stay there if you need. So as you come into your seat, you might like to sit with your legs crossed. You might like to kneel. You could extend the legs. Find a place where you can feel tall and open. Invite the back of the neck to lengthen gently. And just give yourself a moment to open the jaw and maybe a little side to side wiggle. Just inviting the jaw to release and relax. So noticing if that is a place where you tend to hold tension. For a lot of us, it is. So the more often we can check in and just invite some dropping down, the better. Great. And then we'll come into some movement with the breath. So sitting nice and tall, as you breathe in, we'll take the arms all the way out, all the way up, and then bringing the hands down through center. And just noticing how that feels in your body today. If you need to change the size or the shape of that circle, then please do. Take care of your shoulders. Right, the next time that you breathe in, let's pause here. Keep breathing, but just reaching towards the sky. And then we're going to come into some gentle twists. So we're going to turn the heart towards the right and then let the hands drop down beside you. As you breathe in, let's come up to center. And as you breathe out, turning the heart gently towards the left. Breathing in to center and out towards the left, towards the right. So finding your own rhythm with that. Gentle rotation through the upper spine, through the neck. The next time you turn towards the left, let's finish there. So coming back towards center, bringing the hands down towards your heart for a moment. And let yourself sit tall, find your breath. Let the shoulders relax down. We're going to come into our arching and rounding movements for the spine now, which you can do from a seated position if you need to keep the weight away from your wrists, or you can do it from all fours if that's a comfortable place to be. So wherever you're beginning, and another option as well, if you want to take care of the wrists, is to come down onto your forearms if that's available. That's another thing that you can try. So if you're coming into all fours, just play around to find the place where you feel most supported, where your lower belly feels strong, your lower back feels as strong as it can. Take a breath in, and from wherever you are, as you breathe out, let your head drop round the spine and feel the back of the body opening up towards the sky or towards the back of the room. Keep breathing. And then in your own time, I'm going to slowly arch, heart coming forwards, face floating up, shoulders floating back. And then finding your own way between those two shapes, arching and rounding. Maybe this links with your breath, maybe it doesn't. Just let yourself be guided by how things are feeling inside. Find your own pace. And the next time that you find a rounded shape, wherever you are, so head heavy, jaw soft, I'm just going to use this as a place to explore a bit more fluid movement. So maybe shifting your weight from side to side, maybe circling the hips. Allowing the spine to just follow the suggestion of the hips as they move. Allow the shoulders to be involved, the neck and the head. Snaking your way into any places that might be feeling a little bit sticky or held or stuck. We don't need to use any force here. You can just invite the body to unravel in its own time. Right. And then when you feel ready, we're going to make our way towards child's pose. So if you're on all fours, then toes come together, knees wide, and head coming down either to rest on the ground, on your hands, or on stacked fists or a cushion. And really finding somewhere for the head to rest so that the neck can relax, so that the jaw can let go. If you're seated, you can find a seated child's pose by softly bending the knees and draping yourself forwards. And wherever you are, bringing your awareness towards your breath, expanding into the back of your body. And then if you are in child's pose, you can experiment here with a movement to bring a little bit more opening into the shoulders and to the backs of the arms by bringing your palms together. So the head stays down, but the palms come together. And then beginning to gently lift the palms so that the fingertips begin to point in the direction of the sky. If that's comfortable and available, you might take the hands back. And just pausing somewhere where you meet a gentle stretch and staying with that. Breathing. Great. So it's something like this. And then letting that go and deciding whether rest is more of a priority for you today, in which case stay resting here in child's pose or any other posture that feels good for you and helps you to settle. Or if a little bit more fluid movement is going to help you to connect with your breath, then you could reach your arms out if you are in child's pose on the ground. Breathe up towards all fours. And then breathing out, drawing back towards child's pose. Breathing in to all fours. And out back towards child's pose. And as you move with the breath here, just having some awareness of what's going on around the neck, the face, the jaw. can you allow them to stay really soft? So they don't need to lead this movement at all. They can stay rested, just integrated with the spine. And if you'd like to build in a little bit more, the next time that you breathe out, you could find your way towards downward facing dog. Taking a moment to pad through the heels, to sway the hips. And then returning with an in-breath towards all fours and an out-breath towards child's pose. And you're continuing to follow the thread of your own breath through whatever postures are going to serve you today. Knowing that you can pause anywhere that you might want to spend a little bit more time and breath. Great. And then let's meet in the next few moments in a forward bend. There's no rush to get there. So making your way however feels right for you. Making sure your feet feel a comfortable distance apart. If it's better for your lower back to support yourself on your thighs, you could rest your forearms on your thighs and keep the lower back long. Or if it feels comfortable, you can let the weight release down completely. Let the weight of the head go. It might be nice to take hold of your elbows here. And just invite a soft bend into the knees so that the back of the body can release. It doesn't need to feel too stuck. If any gentle movement helps you to feel into the back body here, swaying the hips or patting the heels, then let yourself explore that. And then in your own time, let's roll up through the spine, pressing the weight down, pouring the weight down through the back of the body into the heels. Let your head stay heavy all the way up. Let the head come up last, unfurling through the shoulders. Have a little circle out. Have a shake out through the wrists if that feels okay in your body today. And have a jiggle through the knees. See if you can get into that nice jiggly released place. Great. And then let's come to stillness. And let's do just a couple of things standing. We'll connect to a sense of strength in our legs and support there. So let's take the feet wide to begin with. We're going to find temple pose. We're going to turn the toes out a little bit and just take a look down so that when you bend your knees, you notice that the knees are moving in the same direction as the toes. Great. And then bring your hips back in space. So as if you're sitting back into a chair, weight in your heels. You might bring your hands to your legs and just sense the strength and support that there is there. Feel those muscles working for you. Great. And then shifting your weight gently from side to side. Just exploring the way that those muscles switch on and soften as the weight changes. Lovely. And then seeing if you can find your way to somewhere in the middle, somewhere where the weight is evenly balanced side to side. Okay. And you might by now notice kind of sensations of warmth or trembling or some work happening in your legs now. So can you breathe with that? And then let's come into some movement. So as you breathe in, we'll lengthen up. And as you breathe out, coming all the way back down. Breathing in and out. Last time here. Breathing out to come back down. And then we're going to add in a little movement for the upper back. And you've got a choice here between doing that in this position, so you're continuing to build on that strength in the legs, or coming up to stand. So if you need to take things a little bit gentler today, then come back to stand, or you can stay in temple pose. So it's really up to you. Wherever you're going to begin, we're going to take our arms wide. And as you breathe out, we're going to sweep our hands towards each other with the left hand coming over the right. Take them all the way until we can give ourselves a little hug. You might take the tops of the shoulders. You might be able to squirrel your way into the shoulder blades. And then from here, keeping the face soft, jaw soft, just gently rotating the upper back in one direction and then the other. So it's quite a small movement. Notice if your head and your neck might want to kind of take over, and let them stay soft, just allowing the upper back a little bit of time now. Great. Coming back towards center when you're ready. If you've been in temple pose, release that. Bring your feet together and give your legs a really nice big shake out. Make some loose fists with your hands and just have a pat down through the thighs. Might want to go all the way down if that's available. And then coming back up, great. One more jiggle. You'll be pleased to know, if you're in temple pose before, that we've got one more side to do. So we're gonna do that same twisty movement on the other side. So again, you could begin in temple pose, you could be ready to come up to stand for this. So just tune in and see how your legs are feeling now. If you're coming into temple pose, weight back into the heels. We'll take the arms wide, take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, sweeping the right hand over the left this time. Finding that little hug, and it might be that your hands come to rest in quite a different place on this side. And then keeping the face and the neck and the jaw soft, just inviting some gentle rotation through the upper spine. Right. Noticing if your breath might be able to support you here, so you don't need to hold. And coming back towards center, have a little shake out, and then come up to stand. Great, have a shake through the legs. Lovely. So then let's make our way down towards the ground from here. We'll do a twist lying on the ground before relaxation. So just before we come into it, I'm going to show you the movement that we're going to make, because it's a little bit tricky to describe with words and it's useful to have a visual for it. So we're going to make a big twist. We're going to start on our side and then sweep our arm up and over so that we open up and then roll to the other side. And then sweep up and over to roll to the other side. So it's a kind of twisty roll situation. So make sure you've got some support under your head, maybe a cushion, maybe a blanket, just so the neck and the shoulders can stay soft. And then let's start on our left-hand side. So resting on your left with the knees bent and with the hands in contact with each other. So the arms are going to extend away, palms resting in contact. Let yourself take in that sense of contact between the hands, the warmth of your palms. And then in your own time, slide the top hand forward. So the right hand's going to slide forwards, and then it's going to take a nice big sweeping circle up and over your head, rolling open and allowing the rest of the body to follow. So you don't need to get stuck. And then the left hand's going to follow in its own time. So you should find yourself rolling to rest on your right hand side. And then when you're ready, you can take that big sweeping circle up and around until you can find your way onto the other side. And if you are in a space that doesn't allow for this big sweeping circle, have a play around. See what is there space for that will allow this openness for the chest. Great. And just remembering that sense right at the beginning when we're rolling the head from side to side of kind of pouring the weight from side to side. We're looking for the same kind of quality here. We're just pouring from one side to the other. Connecting with some fluidity in the body. Right. And then we're going to find our way, when you're ready, towards a position of rest. And that might be resting on your back. It might be resting on your side. It might be coming up to sit. So choosing the place that you are going to feel most comfortable and able to settle. And if there's any movements that you need to make before you get there, any little twists or adjustments, then feel free to do that so that you are really ready to rest when you get there. Make sure you feel warm enough. Make sure you have access to any support that you need. And then once you have found yourself into your position of rest, let yourself really spread out into it. And let yourself become aware of the surfaces of your skin. You might sense different temperatures in different parts of the body or different textures that you're in contact with. And see if you can allow yourself to spread fully into that container. So that you begin to take up all the space that you need. And perhaps returning, if it felt useful to you, to that image of the wide, open, spacious sky. A sky that is big enough to contain all of the weather. And as you rest for the next few minutes, resting in that sense of wide open awareness, which can contain anything that arises. Sounds, thoughts, feelings, memories. We can welcome them all in. We have space to hold them all. And we might notice that as we extend that welcome, they shift and change. Things will come and go in their own time. And we just simply witness. In the next few moments, we're going to move towards bringing this practice to a close. If you have the space and time to continue resting, and that will benefit you today, then stay as you are. Let yourself rest. See if you can allow my voice to fade into the background a little bit, or close your computer. If you know that you feel ready to move on, Then begin to invite some gentle movement into the body, whatever helps to begin to bring you back. In the next few moments, beginning to make your way over to rest on your side for a moment and then towards a seated position. And finding some support and stability in your seat. Allowing yourself to be tall, for the shoulders to be soft, for the jaw to be soft. And taking a moment wherever you are to just notice how things are inside. What is the weather there to observe? It might be still, it might be stormy. Can you find that way of connecting to the spaciousness of the sky so that you can welcome whatever it is? And then finding a gesture with your hands that helps you bring a sense of completion. So maybe hands together or in contact with the body somewhere. And thanking yourself for taking the time to practice this morning. Sending some gratitude towards the others who have been practicing alongside you. And thinking about taking that sense of spaciousness and support into the rest of your day and on into the week ahead.